Hi, my name is Stephen Walker. Today I'm going to be talking to you about the traditional way to raise competitive advantage, which is benchmarking. And that's the process where you look at your competition, you see how they provide the client's demands, and you copy them, basically. So the problem with that is that then you end up no better than they are. So that's not a competitive advantage. You're just as good as everybody else. And frankly, I don't find that's a good way to spend a lot of effort to find out how to be better and then end up being as good as everybody else. Let me talk about a case study. So I was working in a business that was a large SME, and we were selling around the world, 134 different countries. And we were making special purpose food processing machinery. And our competitors were able to produce similar machines in 6 weeks. We were regarded as the number one in terms of technology and also the biggest. And it was taking us 12 weeks. And the customer needs were more like 4 weeks, 4 to 6 weeks, I suppose. Because if they were going to build a factory, it didn't take 4 weeks to build a factory, it takes longer, so they knew that was going to happen. If there was a machine fire or something like that that needed replacing, then 12 weeks was a ludicrous time to wait. And we weren't in a position to keep things in stock because they were quite heavily bespoke. So my boss said to me, go and have a look at benchmarking and see how we can improve our operation. So I thought about this. And yeah, there were people I could go and look to who were doing similar sort of things to us. But that would leave us as good as they were in terms of delivery time. And I didn't think that was much of an advantage, in all honesty. So I looked at completely different industries and sectors. Came across McDonald's. Now, I don't know how long the guarantee is that you're going to get served, but it's what, 3 or 4 minutes, 5 minutes or something for a McDonald's. And how do they do that? And if you look when next time you buy a McDonald's or a KFC or something, then you'll find out how they do that. You know how they do that. So why couldn't we copy that? Why couldn't we emulate that sort of process? That was a question. What would we need to do to be like McDonald's? So I went back to my boss and said, okay, yep, I want to benchmark against McDonald's. He was surprised. And he said, but that's ridiculous. All they have to do is fry a few chips and cook a burger. I said, well, yes. That's because somebody has already grown the potatoes and they have them there, probably chipped as well, I don't know. And somebody has raised a cow and butchered it and has that ready in the form of burgers, patties. So they've done that pre-work, either in-house or outside, so that they can then produce the service in 3 or 4 minutes, or it's supposed to be. So I don't think we're very different. We have metal frames made outside, and we don't worry about them digging iron ore out the ground to do that. So let me have a look. So I had a look, and we decided that 7 days would be a good target. So that's going from 12 weeks to 1 week. And that's how we set off. And we did change a lot of the processes, a lot of the ideas and the concepts were really quite difficult to battle through, in fact, because there were some really traditional views about who does what. But we got through those. So firstly, there was a huge cost saving. There was a vast reduction in the amount of space and the amount of material that we were holding in stock. Next, there was flexibility. Because we were leaving the final stages of customization to within a week, instead of looking at it 12 weeks in advance and locking everything up for that 12 weeks, we could jump around and we could focus on what we could actually sell, because these purchase orders usually came with various conditions, like when we get the money, all these sorts of things, grants and stuff. But we could focus then on what we could actually sell, which made us much more likely to hit our monthly figures. And in terms of my job, of planning and getting everything ready, it meant that instead of trying to wrestle with a 12-week plan, which had a lot of variation at the end and all the way through, I was able to focus on a 1-week plan. And in fact, what I did was run the plan twice a day, morning and afternoon, so that if something happened, maybe a sale got cancelled, then I could reallocate the resources, reallocate the materials, and move ahead to get finished what could be sold. So benchmarking against somebody else is okay, but if it's the same industry, then you're no better off. Try and do it against somebody else who has a completely different way of working, a completely different result from the customer. And can you imagine going into McDonald's and saying, yeah, that'll be 12 weeks? Wouldn't work with it. So you need really to look at what could be better for you. So coming up with a better way of working is really that first step to going from good to outstanding. Thank you. This is Stephen Walker, Motivation Matters, creating environments where people will give their best.